Hey everybody, I want to do some figure drawing with you today. So let's start with some 15-second poses. I'm using Procreate with the dry ink brush, but you can use anything you want. And I'm going to try and play the figure drawing here. Everyone will be clothed with underwear, but go ahead and pause and get ready. And then when you're ready to go, I'll start it and we can draw together. Okay, let's go. All right, so I figured after we do a couple of these, I think I was 20 or something, I'll do a small lesson. But this is just to get us started and loosened up before we start thinking too hard about what we're doing. If you're new to the channel, my name is Carly Ann and I'm a professional illustrator. I've worked for about 11 years doing concept art for games and in children's illustration, and I decided to make this channel just to help other artists reach their goals, but make it a little bit more fun and hopefully easier on the way. And I'm just gonna be sharing cute art and my tips of stuff I wish I had known, and hopefully I can help you on the way. Oh man, and a dog, that's too much. That's too much for 15 seconds. If you decided not to draw along, you probably just want to speed up the video to watch me draw a little faster, but you know, do what you want. So just remember, for this, it's 15 seconds, so just stay loose and rough. It's okay if it doesn't look right or if nobody understands anything. We're just getting ready and loosened. These first poses for me, I always feel like are terrible, but it just takes a little bit to get back in the groove if it's been a while, and that's okay. If you enjoyed drawing with me today, I hope that you would think about liking or subscribing to this channel. I especially just need people to watch my videos so I can monetize it, and then I can do this more often. So hopefully you enjoy drawing with me today. Why do they have these weird beak people? Oh wow, that goes right through her head. I'm not gonna do it that way. Okay. This is the pose we just did. Okay, we'll do it better this time, guys. We can do it. I did not do it better. All right, let's stop there 1 second. Yes. Okay, so now that you're warmed up, let's talk about some basic principles. So the first one is the line of action. So if we go back to hopefully one of these that I did well, the line of action is considered like the motion, like the main amount of motion that goes through a drawing. So for this one, in this pose, his body really went like this. And so you can see that's kind of a curve. And if someone has a line of action that is curved, it'll feel less stiff than if it is straight. So here we can see that I was thinking about it curving like that. And even here where they were sitting, I still try to add a little bit of those curves in there so that there's a flow throughout the drawing. Sometimes when I draw, and it really just depends on your style and not even really your style, but what you get comfortable doing. There's no wrong or right way to do figure drawing gestures. It's whatever becomes comfortable for you. So sometimes when I'm drawing and I use the line of action, sometimes I'll do the head first, and then sometimes I'll kind of add it in like this, like the line of action, to get an idea of what I'm doing. And sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'll just go straight there. And then sometimes I might even do the line of action first. So it'd be like this, and the person's head is here, and that's showing where their drawing is. I recommend drawing the line of action when you're newer, because I think sometimes even here where I didn't do it, it wasn't as strong. And it's good practice to try and add that in there, however you're going to add it in whatever way works for your process. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is exaggeration. So you might see a drawing like this one where he was standing straight, and in reality his pose might have been closer to something like this, where it wasn't very exaggerated. It was still a little stiff. But in figure drawing, it's okay for you to push what you see, and you don't have to do exactly what is in real life. You can exaggerate it. As the artist, you can decide what you want to emphasize and what you don't. For example, this one I'm sure was exaggerated past what that person might have been doing. So exaggeration is always allowed. And then just as a general tip, I have a video about this technique, but if you're really new to figure drawing, it's okay just to use a stick figure. If this is easier for you without having to think about anatomy and everything to start with, especially for gesture, totally okay to, instead of stick figures, or if you're comfortable doing stick figures, do a box chest, which is, you'll see me do often. So I'll do this little box, and that will be what I build the limbs off of, and I find it pretty easy to keep the proportions more natural because of that box. And you can think of the box as the top of the chest and do a bottom half if you want hips. You can do it that way. It's a little bit more advanced again. But that's sort of how I think about those. And even though it's a box, I can squish those edges to give it more drama. And then once you're ready, like if you like the pose and you wanted to make it into like a full drawing and not just a gesture, then you can go in and like add the other parts of the limbs, and you have a really nice base to work on. And I've had a lot of beginner artists say that this has helped them a lot to sort of think about it this way, because it's super simple forms, and especially when you're doing gesture, it helps to think about things really simply. So, okay, that was pretty sloppy, but you get the idea. Okay, so now that we've had a little bit of a warm-up and a little lesson, let's do another one. Okay, so her line of action, I would go like this for that little twist in her body. That is an awkward pose. Okay. Oh, this is a great one. All right, so you can see the line of action. Boom. And then I use the elliptical to show, hey, she's looking up, because it curves up as opposed to curving down. That's looking down. So she's curving up. That's fun, he's floating. All right, this one is a little tricky when it's sort of front on like that, but I still try and bend the legs a little. I try to bend the chest a little still, even though it looks pretty straight on, just so that we have a little bit of exaggeration there. This one is one where I start with the head first, because I felt like it was confusing. So I'm using that head to help ground what's happening in this illustration personally. But again, there's no wrong way to do that. So whatever felt natural to you to do, totally fine. Again, see, she doesn't have this bend in her back, but for exaggeration purposes, I went ahead and added that in. Just so that it's a stronger, more interesting pose and more dynamic. If I wanted it to be like super relaxed, I probably would have done it the other way. This is a tricky one because there's so much overlap that I actually wouldn't use this pose in an illustration. I would change the direction of everything because even in the photo, it's hard to understand what's happening. And if it's in an illustration, you're not going to make it make more sense. And I think that's one thing to remember too, like just because it's in a photo, again, you are the artist, you get to choose what you want to show or what you don't want to show. It's okay to do a different pose or to show it from a different angle if it makes more sense, especially like if you're already looking at it in the photo and the photo doesn't make sense, it's not going to make sense when you draw it. I think after this one, we'll do some longer poses. After this set, I'll do a couple more here, and then we'll do some longer poses now that we're a little bit more warmed up. I still want to start with long poses before you get all those, bad drawings out of the way, so you get comfortable and remember what you're doing. And it's okay if these drawings, again, these are gesture drawings. It's okay if they don't really look like much, if they look kind of scribbles, as long as you basically know what's happening. Oh man, they really love this pose. We're gonna figure this pose out at some point today, guys. I think it's getting better. I think I'm starting to understand it a little more. Just need to add the chair in. Which is hard. All right, this will be the last one. All right, so now let's do 60 seconds. I'll do 10 at 60 seconds, and let's see how it goes. One thing about weight is I've always been told, like, if you go around the nose and you go straight down, that's where the support for the weight should be. So here is where her foot needs to be so that she doesn't feel like she's falling over. Suddenly 60 seconds feels like forever. I don't think we should do 10. I think it'll be too long. So the website I'm using today is called Line of Action. If you guys have one that you like better or that you want me to try, I'm happy to try it. I was thinking I really enjoy doing figure drawing and I enjoy practicing. So if you guys enjoy this, I can do these live, or we can do them every Friday, or I don't know, whatever we want to work out. And if there's a website you want me to try, I'm happy to do that. I just want to make sure that I can make sure the models are clothed for, you know, the audience. Not everyone's comfortable with all that skin. I feel like 1 minute feels like forever now. Oh, 10 seconds left on this battery, so or if you are drawing with pencil, I'm erasing, but I actually recommend, if you're doing pencil, just draw really lightly to start with, and then okay, I'll try and do it on the next one. Then you just can draw darker as you go. I don't want to do this pose, it's from the back. It's gonna look like nothing for a minute. Okay, I would just draw, and partly I'm not drawing lightly because I want you guys to be able to see it on screen, but if I was drawing with like a pencil or something, or even pen, I would draw lightly, more like this to start, to lay things down. And it's okay if none of this ends up being the final line, because you're drawing really lightly. And then when you decide, okay, I like that, then you can go in with a darker line and figure out, okay, so these are the shapes. And because it's darker, those light lines kind of fade back and the darker lines stand out, and you don't really notice, they just become sort of sketchy lines in the background. So it's okay if they were, you know, not totally correct or whatever. It's kind of fun one with a square, kind of smart. All right, this is gonna be the last one of this set. In my next video, I'll show you how I clean up a gesture when I like it. I'll just pick one that I like today. It is not going to be this one. I just don't like awkward poses like this. It's a little too much for me. It's good practice, but
not going in a portfolio, you know.
Please let me know if you guys enjoyed drawing with me, like doing videos like this, because I'll do more if you guys do. So let me know in the comments below. Alright, it's the last 10 seconds, so like, subscribe. See you guys next time. Bye!